It's the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. The scene in South Philly a few moments ago. Boy, the city of brotherly love is fired up. They're saying, "Fly, Eagles, fly," as they get ready to match up with the Baltimore Ravens. Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports. And he opts to not bring this one out. The first drive will start at the 25. First and 10, and kind of tipping their hand at running the ball. 3 tight ends are out there. They'll run for the first time with Kenneth Gainwell. And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26. Well, this defense for the Ravens, they were terrific last week in the victory over Kansas City.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and trying to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver? But one of the ways that quarterbacks keep all the receivers alive in a play, never lock in on any one guy. Make sure you keep your eyes moving, scan the field. And here he finds the open guy for a nice pickup.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. On play action, Allen. And this one almost intercepted. Not a good throw there. Nearly an opening drive INT.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes. But the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. From the gun, it's Allen. And he rifles one incomplete. Well, you know, this club, there were some reports earlier in the week, and most have heard this by now, the so-called unnamed sources that were saying all is not rosy in that locker room. There's whispers that 1 or 2 guys, CD, have kind of had enough of how things are going and have been going. How would you handle that as a coach?
Well, you and I both know all the coaches that we've dealt with and come in contact with. They'd love to get their hands on those unnamed sources, wouldn't they? But they know that that's not possible, so I think they've got to go in there and make sure that this isn't a distraction. They also know that once the grumbling starts, it becomes a slippery slope and it's hard to stop the fall. But I think you need to sit some guys down and say, hey, look, we're still hoping to be a playoff team this year. We need you guys to be bought in with what we're doing. Come on, let's get on board.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. So the shotgun snap to Allen. And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free, and it brings up 4th down. On 4th down, Matt Hawk to punt it away. And back deep, Deontay Johnson. And he gets it away. A directional kick going toward the sideline. And this is going to be ruled out, I think, just inside the 20. Yes, it will. Side judge calls it at the 19-yard line. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line. Off the play fake to Dobbins. Here's Jackson. That ball caught by the former Toledo Rocket, Deontay Johnson. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or 2 miss, but that window closed quickly. Throwing again on 2nd down. Jackson. He'll dump this off, complete to Dobbins. Room here to run. And he gets us to the other side of midfield across the 45 before going out. A big play that that time through the air. 37 yards. So the big play gets him across midfield now for 1st and 10. First carry now for Gus Edwards. Flashed the stick skills, but didn't get a ton from it. Stopped short of the 35. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
DC ready?
From the gun, Jackson. Looking for Evans, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 35. And a super return as he gets us all the way down inside the 25-yard line.
And Brandon, this is a real nice job defensively of getting inside a quarterback's head and figuring out, okay, where's he going with the football? Because you can make an educated guess defensively, not all the time, but sometimes. And when you're right, you've got a decent chance of coming away with the football.
On 1st and 10, it's Gainwell. And not a lot of daylight, not really any daylight inside, as he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Brings up 2nd down. 2nd and 10. Allen going to throw. He'll find Gainwell out of the backfield. And on this one, he'll get to the 15, right at the 15-yard line. That'll leave him with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. To throw, it's Allen. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
How about this defense? They came up with a couple big plays in this sequence, and none better than the one right there, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
Now to Eagle field goal, Jake Elliott. The kick by Elliott is good. And the Eagles, they take a 3-0 lead. They got the interception, but very little movement after. That forces him to settle for 3. It does feel unsettling when that happens, doesn't it?
It certainly does, but we got to give a lot of credit where it's due, and that's to the defense because they ran onto the field. This is what we call sudden change, right? Interception, you got to go put out the fire, and they did, holding them to a field goal.
The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. They threw an interception the first time they had the football, only gave up 3 points off of that, so it shouldn't be a difficult hole to overcome.
It really shouldn't, as long as they're not listening to the chatter coming from the other side, because when you throw a pick, look, I know defensive backs, they have a tendency to be a little bit loud after they take one away, but they also have a tendency to gamble a little bit more, thinking they'll get a second one. Maybe they can take advantage of that with some double moves.
Trying to find Cup, but it's intercepted. Jonathan Abram picks it. And he'll get it all the way down inside the 35-yard line. If you combine last week and this week, he's got a hat trick going because he had 2 interceptions a week ago.
He's seeing the ball so well and understanding where receivers are and positioning. I mean, just watching him work with such great technique and paying it off by actually catching the ball when he has a chance, he's helping his team in a huge way.
Give him a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
Well, any lane that might have been open there was closed pretty quickly, and that was because the defensive front, they won that battle at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. They used great leverage, held their spot, and stacked him up.
Tap forward by Allen on the jet sweep. And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. A nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked on it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
Now Allen. And he fires one, but incomplete.
They certainly had good starting field position on that drive, but couldn't do anything with it after 3 plays. Have to admit that that's a disappointing end to excellent field position. When that drive started, they had 6 points that they were thinking about.
The kick by Elliott is good. And that'll make it 6-0 here in the first. So 2 first-quarter field goal attempts for him, and he's converted on both.
I like the positive right there. 2 for 2, got the points on the board. The negative side is they didn't score touchdowns. And, of course, going forward in this game, that's going to be the aim, and hopefully they'll be kicking extra points instead.
The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. To this point, the results have not been good. 2 possessions, 2 turnovers.
And that's obviously something that can't continue, but to go a little bit deeper on that one, I would think about some play calls now, not even necessarily to my best player, but to someone I can trust with the ball. Try and get things settled down a little bit.
They'll contain him to just 4. Second down. Now it's Jackson. He finds his man Johnson. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
On first down, Stanley, and he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. Option play, and they'll hand to Dobbins. And able to use his blockers to get this up over the 40.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
And he will have a Ravens first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Well, that was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
Edwards now on 1st and 10. And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. From the gun, it's Jackson. Airing this one out for Evans. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
Oh, he's got a little daylight. 20. And he's out of bounds. Almost gets to the 10. Now, that's one they hate. The ball's got to come all the way back.
So that's an explosive play, a really explosive play that gets wiped out, and they have to start over after the penalty.
Six 0 our score after 1. 7th play of this drive coming up, but a long way to go on 3rd down. They go play action now. Jackson going up top for Kupp. And this is, oh my goodness, he pulled it in one-handed. And he just falls short down at the 1-yard line. It's a big play there for Baltimore. A kicker fest so far, all points via field goals. They're hoping to change that right here. Edwards. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Gus Edwards, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Ravens can take the lead now if they hit the extra point. Justin Tucker for the extra point. He's got it, and they take the lead at 7-6. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. They've shown precious little here offensively thus far as they try again with a first down now. Here's a throw, complete right side to start things out. And he gets this one just shy of the 40 to mark him down at the 39.
I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
And here's a handoff to Gainwell. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. On 2nd and 12, Allen. Eluding the pressure right. And with a flag down, he goes down. So they're able to sack him. Now the penalty looks like it could be holding. Let's find out. And this third down looking very tough after the holding penalty. 3rd and long. Working out of the shotgun. Here's Allen. Looking here for Smith downfield. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Humphrey. And the Ravens are going to have great field position here as this is returned just shy of midfield. But really not much secret there. 3rd and long, Charles, that he was looking to throw the football. And I would imagine as a defender, you're kind of salivating in that spot, right?
You certainly are, because 3rd and long situations, they tip the scale towards the defense every single time. Now you're actually able to dictate and understand what the offense is trying to do. You know where the first down marker is. You set your defense that way, and maybe you can be a little more aggressive in certain situations because of that. You start focusing on your coverage assignment, and when the ball's released, you break on it and make a play, as we just saw there.
Yeah, this will be a gain of 5 as he gets it to the 30.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Jackson from the shotgun. Airing this one out for Evans. Oh, for the 3rd time, Jackson going to be intercepted. Dante Jackson picks it. And the Eagles are going to get the football as he gets this past the 20-yard line. Well, before we came up to the booth, last thing he said as we were walking off the field, want to play mistake-free football. Well, that just went out the window there with a pick.
And do you remember what you said to me when we were walking up to the booth after he said that? You're like, oh, fatal last words. Every time we hear that, things tend to fall apart a little bit, and that's what we saw there. Didn't get enough on that throw, and it turned into an interception.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. What they're hoping is that last mistake is their only one of the game.
Coaches, that's all they talk about, turnovers, right?
Minimizing those and maximizing opportunities.
That catch good for only a couple. Ball at the 23, 2nd and 8. On the handoff, Gainwell, and not much there. Maybe a yard up to the 24.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
The Eagles on 3rd down. Not good. 0 for 4 thus far. This is 3rd and 7. And he's not going to sniff the first down here. He stopped at the 25. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down. Here's Matt Hawk now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. On the return, Johnson. A 40-yard punt, no return, and the Ravens, they'll take over. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And with 3 interceptions thrown already, we'll see, do they rely more on the ground game here?
They may have to change things offensively to try and settle things down, not just for the guy throwing the ball, but for the rest of the offensive unit, because their confidence has to be shaken a little bit. And you just wonder, is the backup going to start to warm up a little bit over on the sideline?
On 2nd down now, it's Stanley. They follow up the first down 1-yard run with a minimal gain of 2.
Early down stuff to put this offense in a precarious position. We know that securing the point of attack, especially against the big-bodied guys in the middle of this D, has got to be priority 1.
Play action. Now Jackson. And he's got his tight end. That's Andrews. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down.
So many times in my career I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
And he's going to be down at the 35. Gain of 7.
That's a really nice job by them picking up the run blitz and detecting it and blocking it and turning it into a nice run. And a lot of times you think if you blitz a running play, you're going to smother it. But a lot of the blitzers, they come in a little bit high. They don't have great leverage, and they're easily blocked and turned to the side.
He'll wind up getting 3 on the keeper there, but it leads to a 3rd down. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll get you to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. The coach will have stats and scores from earlier today in the NFL. Jackson looking to throw on 3rd. And for the 4th time tonight, it's an interception. Picked off inside the 10. And he returns it here to his own 18-yard line. Well, we heard all week that they were going to put the football in the air a lot. The problem is that is now 4 interceptions, Charles, that he has thrown in this first half. How do you treat a situation? What do you say to your quarterback right now?
Boy, that's an interesting question because a lot of it depends on the head coach and the people making the decisions. You have to know your quarterback and know if he's mentally tough enough to have a chance to turn it around. Or is he a guy that maybe you've seen enough and it's time to go to the backup? But right now what you're rooting for is your defense to help keep you in the game, to give him an opportunity to get back on track.
Here's Allen on 1st and 10. Flushed out right. And I think that one might have been intercepted, but he will be ruled out of bounds. So this will go only as incomplete.
That was an interesting look there because as soon as he got outside the pocket, I thought he was going to take off and run for yardage. But what often happens now with these quarterbacks who can move, defenses want to try and keep bodies in front of them, and I think that discouraged him from taking off and made him try a pass downfield that fell incomplete.
Out to his left. Wide open is Watkins. He's got him. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. I believe they buzzed down. They're going to take another look at this play with all reviews coming from the replay official here in the final 2 minutes of the half. Did he keep those feet in bounds? That's the question they've got to decide. And I got to say, watching it in real time, it was awfully close.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a heck of a catch because he didn't appear to bobble it, which could complicate things. But even with the benefit of replay, that's pretty tight.
Well, here's the call. They'll run on 1st down. It's Allen, and he'll be brought down at about the 42. A gain of 3, 2nd down.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
Now an option play on 2nd down. And he's going to get this inside the 30. And now they come up and spike it to stop the clock. On 2nd down, Gainwell looking for space. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. They'll go option to the short side. It's going to be a gain of 6 on the keeper, but it leads to a 3rd down. Now that's what he can do, when he keeps the football. It's not a huge gain, but it shows how hard it can be to stop him.
Yeah, and I thought the defense had that one pretty well contained, and in fact, they probably came up and felt pretty good about what they did. Then they looked up and realized he still got good yardage out of it. He's a tough guy to stop.
And we're going to get a timeout with 2 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter. So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. And now they'll take a timeout defensively. After the 2nd down play, they burn the timeout, making him sweat out the final few ticks here in the 2nd quarter. The kick by Elliott is good. And that will do it for this 1st half. So we've come to halftime here in Philly with the Eagles on top. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman ready with our EA Sports halftime report. Coach. The Ravens set to receive the football, trailing here as we resume action in the 3rd quarter. And we will not see a return to start the half, as this will be a touchback. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. It's been a tight game to this point. What do they need to do, Charles, to break through in the 2nd half and take the lead?
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is thank their defense for keeping them in this game. And, I think the defense is saying back to them, why don't you guys focus on getting some 1st downs, put some drives together, give us a little bit of a break here. If we can get some rest, we'll play even better for you. And, oh, by the way, pay off a few of those drives with some points, too.
Now a 2nd down and 6. And goodness, another interception. Picked off at the 28, and he takes this one down into the end zone, and the Eagles defense gets a pick-6 TD. Elliott good with a PAT, and that makes this a 9-point game. So they throw the pick-6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And this will not be brought out. It's a touchback. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. They're sort of seeing themselves spiral out of control. Let's see if they can get things back on track.
And this is where the coach is walking that line of being calm and really being firm with his team. I had one tell me once, when we were having a tough patch, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. And finally we kept having a rough patch. He said, but you got to do something to make it pass. And that's what they have to do. They've got to get some control back, get themselves reasserted, and calm things down.
See if they can get calm and reassert themselves here.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there is they were able to connect. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on third down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down. Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in...
Pressure comes, and down he goes. The Eagles get there for the sack. Fletcher Cox in there to bury him for a loss of 11. Now after that sack, it's 3rd and long for Jackson and the Ravens. Jackson. Here's Johnson with a reception. And he will have a Ravens first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
I tell you what, it looks like he's shaking off that pick-6 just fine. It's not just defensive backs that have to have short memories. Quarterbacks utilize that as well. A much more confident throw right there.
So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30.
Some big plays in the passing game on this drive, and here's one out of the running game. So the passing game loosening things up. Now there's room to roam.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Dobbins going to take the handoff on the option. And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play there, 2nd down. Nice job there defensively to clamp down because really they've been on their heels this drive.
Agreed, and they really needed that one for confidence, just to feel a little bit better. But I don't know if I would be daunted by them stopping me on one run. This drive has gone pretty well. I could come right back at them.
On 2nd down, it's Stanley. And not even back to the line of scrimmage this time as they're on him quickly once more. They'll wind up losing 3, and now it's 3rd down. Jackson on the give to Dobbins. And inside the 20 before he's brought down.
Well, I can certainly tell my age, partner, because when I was a kid, Running backs like J.K. Dobbins with over 2,000 yards in their final season in college, they went early in the draft. Instead, he somehow lasted until the second round. But how great is it to get a guy with that ability who can run it inside, run to the perimeter, and catch the football in the backfield? Be able to get him in the second round? That's what I call a steal.
Yikes, a 4-yard loss really sets him back now for second down. Play action. It's Jackson. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete. Well, we've talked about it, CD, but it bears repeating. They are struggling to throw the football. All the interceptions and more incompletions. It just doesn't look like things are in sync out there.
I would agree with that, and it's not a good day when you feel like an incomplete pass is almost a win for you because it wasn't intercepted. I think
and now here is another interception. Jonathan Abram picks it, and the Eagles are going to take over once again. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
And he's going to go down. He backed up into the end zone, and this is going to wind up a safety. And, Charles, at some point, you can't keep worrying about big play. Can this be perfect? You just have to get the ball out of the end zone.
And in the offensive huddle, that was discussed when they called the play. Just get out of the end zone. But you know what's interesting? A lot of the times in the defensive huddle, they actually call a set and then say at the end of it, get a safety. So it's preached, it's coached, it's thought about.
The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Working with 2nd and 5 now. On the counter, it's Edwards. 2 yards on the carry there, and it's going to lead them to 3rd down.
I have to think a major focus at the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
And they'll try and run the option to pick it up. And he won't be close to a first down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the keeper, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. The Ravens send their punter out now as he's on to punt for the first time tonight. They only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. And a great job on special teams to down it as this will be marked out inside the 5-yard line.
That punt was near perfection as it checked up inside the 5-yard line. You never know where these things are going to go, do you?
No, what was it? You got a John Heisman quote about that,
yeah,
right?
He said the football is roughly a prolate spheroid, which means it's going to bounce funny, and you never know where it's going to end up.
They start the drive with a give to Allen. And that won't buy him much room. Just a 1-yard gain to the 5.
That first down play, all you want to do is wedge out any type of space and try and create enough room. If you have to run the punter out there, he can successfully complete the punt.
Yeah, didn't get a ton there, but at least some positive yardage. The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. And he will take this up to about the 8-yard line. Only gets 3 yards there on the heels of the 1-yard pickup. Sets up 3rd and 6. Now, they struggled to get him rolling on the ground in the first half, and that's sort of continuing here in the third quarter.
Yeah, but I don't think it's time to abandon the running game. I would say keep feeding the horse, and I believe he'll eventually reward them, especially as we get deeper in the game.
They'll try the option right here on 3rd down. And Allen will have the first down as he's able to slide to avoid the contact at the end. One quarter remains here on a Sunday night. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. From the gun, here's a run by Gainwell. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on 1st down. So their task a little bit more difficult now. 2nd and 13 that they're walking up on. And now they'll throw with Allen. Man open, it's J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A quick throw, it's Arcega-Whiteside. And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30.
Well, that should be a reminder defensively, and I think it's a reminder to myself because you just can't sell out to stop the run. There's still enough time that this offense can move the football through the air, even on 1st and 2nd downs, and they obviously picked the right spot to throw the ball there.
So in Raven territory now, here's a 1st and 10 down at the 31. From the gun, a give to Gainwell. And he'll lose yardage. Brought down at the 32. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
On the run is Gainwell. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
You know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Throwing on 2nd and 8. Allen. Out left and hauled in by Arcega-Whiteside. And the Eagles are looking at 1st and goal as he's tackled all the way down at the 2-yard line.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect them to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
So 1st and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Allen taking it himself, and they will stop him after a fairly minimal pickup. Only a yard on the keeper, and it'll be 2nd down.
Okay, got him halfway there. You don't see the sneak all that often from the 2-yard line because you definitely don't want to see your quarterback get clobbered. But you wonder.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown. A great play there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And they add on to their lead, and it's looking like that win streak is going to extend another week. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And you figure after giving up that last touchdown, they trail by 2 scores here in the fourth quarter. This drive becomes very critical. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. A completion, yes, but certainly not what they wanted. A loss of a full 6 yards. 2nd and 16. Take this across the 25 before going out of bounds. 11 yards is the gain on the keeper there, but now it's 3rd down. Huntley to throw. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up.
It's been clear in this matchup which side has been the more physical one. It's been this defense. And here's another example on that last play.
All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Here we go. It's Jackson on 4th down. And the catch made by Johnson. And he's taken down right at the 45-yard line. Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
Here's Huntley. And boy, another ill-advised throw there as that will wind up incomplete. I guess they're in a situation now, 4th quarter, where they're forced to take some chances, but I don't know that that was the type of a chance you want to take.
And that one could very easily have been intercepted. And if it does get picked off, that could possibly seal this one.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. From the gun, they'll try to run it. And he'll be a little shy of the 25 here at the 26-yard line. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
That 2nd down play call was not to pick up the 1st down. It was to accomplish what they did to get them into a manageable 3rd down because they had incompletion on 1st down, so they were behind the sticks, so to speak. They needed to make up some ground, and they did.
He's got his man. It's Andrews. And he'll be out of bounds just inside the 25-yard line. They stop him for only 3 that time, and that'll bring up 4th down. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. Open man is Bateman. It's complete. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. To throw, Huntley. And in for the Ravens touchdown. Deontay Johnson, his first touchdown on the year. And the Ravens have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. So they get the score, partner. Game's not over, but they still need some help here.
Agreed. They definitely need some help, but they took care of the first part by scoring themselves.
Tucker with the extra point. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. No run back here, down to a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. After the touchdown we just saw, we have a brand new ball game. And now look at the situation. You got plenty of time on the clock. Defensively, they have 3 timeouts. So do you run the football here, or do you... And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him. Cameron Jordan, so tough to block as he gets in there to record the sack. Well, you don't usually get a sack from a nose tackle spot, but we got one there.
No, we don't, and a lot of the times in passing situations, they end up off the field anyway. So how happy was he to work his way back to the quarterback and put him on the ground? He's going to end up with a nickname after something like that, some big jelly or something like that.
Back quite a ways here, facing 2nd and 19. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. They're facing a critical 3rd down now as they try to hold on to this lead. And that nearly the pick that they needed. He couldn't pull it in, though, and it's 4th down.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. Johnson to return it. That'll go as a punt of 42, 7 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And things are starting to move in the right direction. They get the touchdown last drive, then their defense gets them the football back.
Yeah, now they have a chance to get the lead if they can put something together here. I'm eager to see how they decide to do it. If they want to be methodical, or do they want to take the big strike and go after it right now?
Here's 2nd and 10. Jackson. Connecting with Andrews. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
Here's Jackson. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Larson. And he will have a Ravens 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
That's a nice job right there, partner, because they were able to work down the middle of the field, working in the seams, because I think defensively they were guarding the sidelines, trying to keep them from getting out of bounds. They took what they gave them, and it was successful.
Now the Ravens going to use one of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 45 seconds left to go in the game.
When you run a screen pass really well, you got to like the look of it because so many parts come together to make it work well. The offensive linemen where they're faking people out, the back slipping out there, catching the football, then all of them going together as one unit downfield. A really nice pickup.
Throwing, Jackson. Flush to his right. Late in the game, defense trying to avoid a big play. He's able to work out of the passing game, turn it into a run, pick up the 1st, and stop the clock as well.
And you know in this situation, everything is sped up. The intensity, the thinking, everyone's movement. But for a quarterback, he has to continue to be what we call a flatliner. Level in everything he does and read the clock, feel it in the pocket, and go at the appropriate time.
Jackson. Escaping the pressure right. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away.
Ooh, that's certainly not the worst thing. It stops the clock and lets your offense catch its breath and lets us exhale a little bit. Now I expect them to call a couple plays in the huddle, so they're ready if a tackle happens inbounds.
On second down, a run with Dobbins. A little second effort there on the strong run. And then drop just inside of the 20. The Ravens going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 27 seconds showing on the clock. Jackson to throw. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
That means it's just one last chance left, and this has to be a first down or a touchdown, or this game's over.
So down 6, and they know they need this one on fourth down. Now Jackson. And this is caught. Touchdown. And now they're an extra point away from winning this thing in the final seconds. And now remember, all touchdowns are reviewed, and in a tight game like this, they're going to take a good long look at it. So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. A very important extra point there, up and good, and that might be enough to win them the football game as they now take the lead in the final seconds. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. So you're right there, but obviously the clock is not your friend. How do you handle this situation?
You're thinking 2 plays. One, to get yourself in position for the second one, whether you're able to get into field goal range or you have to try another deep pass, another Hail Mary. But you're trying to get the first one to a receiver, get out of bounds, and give yourself a chance to set things up for an easier shot at it.
Let's see if they can do it. Might be easier said than done. So the incompletion, and now it's 2nd and 10, again from the 25-yard line. Throwing is Allen. Eluding the pressure right. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. And now with 4 seconds left, we get a timeout call. So after all of this, it comes down to one final play.
And just think of what it's going to be, because from this distance, you've got to be prepared for everything. Hook and laterals, tip balls, you name it. A lot of laterals after a catch. Just got to be prepared, stay on your feet defensively, and tackle someone.
One final shot. They'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And it's incomplete. So their final drive comes up empty. And with that, the ball game is over. Well, going into the final play of this game, they knew that they needed some type of a miracle there at the very end, but they couldn't get it done. However, we were treated to really a spectacular affair.
Even though they didn't finish it off, you're exactly right. They took us down to the last play. We're still, you were wondering, could it happen? Possibly, even though we both knew it was a long shot.
So for the Ravens, the win moves them up to 5-2 now on the year. And they'll head back home next week to take on the Houston Texans. Meanwhile, for the Eagles, the loss knocks them from the ranks of the undefeated as they drop their first game of the season. And they'll try to rebound next week on the road in Washington. So for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Next game, guess what? Charles and I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.